that would be the account that works. You know what I'm saying? It's illest and realist. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I feel like I'm going back to Graffiti Gray. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad this finally worked. Anyways, can you see me all right?
Yes, yes, Benny, man. Thank you for being patient and thank your homie over there who's helping you with the
Yeah,
setup.
no, two homies. My nephew Chivo and Chris, the man, as always, comes through when in the clutch. You know, so fucking me. So, are you allowed to cuss on the Instagram live?
Yeah.
All right.
So listen, so first of all, why don't we start this conversation? I want to welcome you and thank you for taking part in this conversation and sharing your story with us.
Thank you. I'm honored and I don't know what to say. Like, I appreciate the opportunity and good to get my story out there to more people. You know what I mean? I like pretty much dedicated my life to graffiti and my family, both my real family since the accident. I mean, you know, but my crews. You know what I'm saying? DTC, KYT. That this is they saved my life. They saved my life. I was in a coma, and the love, like I don't know if I believe in the exact God, but like love is God. Quoted from my girl Esky, and she I don't know, and that's I don't know, but they saved my life many times, and that's just the way it is. But anyways,
Well,
go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I
Well,
ramble.
we've heard that before, right? Graffiti saved my life. So
True.
Benny, before we start this conversation, I just want to uh, talk a little bit about you to folks as we start looking at some images. Uh, Benny DIAR from the KYT and DTC crews, uh, you know, who started writing in 2008. Oh, I'm sorry, who,
Yep.
forgive me
Those
for,
are my they were my first tattoos up to the accident. I had to let my
yeah.
boys. I mean, they literally kept me alive in that hospital, and you know what I'm saying, my boy Nerves had to hook up the crew tats on my forearms the first opportunity I had. So,
Well,
anyways, go ahead.
Benny, before we even get into that, right? Because we want to talk about you as a writer.
Uh,
And let's talk about the early days. We're looking at the big
Early
top to
days.
bottom uh,
That yeah, that
print.
one's dope. That one's
And
dope. That
you
is. I
said
mean,
this was a
that's
first.
probably that's okay. Go ahead. My bad. I'm
No, no,
fucking.
you mentioned that this was a first. Could you tell us what that first was?
The first was, as far as I know, is the first holy roller or more known efficient term auto rack whole car that was ever done.
And how old were you when you painted this?
Chris is watching. Hey Chris, if you're watching or somebody, your phone's about to die, bro. So we gotta switch this out. But anyways, sorry for another complication. It's telling me 10%. Anyways, yeah, back in like 2000, 2001, just painting a bunch in the East Bay. I paint this spot. I worked for 7 Up and like super active main yard, and like so I would always like go there all the time and like figure out the schedules and what tracks meant, how long, what train was gonna be there, for how long. Usually, if it's on this one line, it lasted for a week. I but I figured that out afterwards. Like one night, painting a bunch of trains East Bay, and like me and Beggar and Kev Five, fucking homies. We well, Kev.
There, I'm losing Benny. I'm losing you, brother. It's a bit of a communication issue here, right? This. Okay. So let me bring him back on. Let me log him off and log him back on. Bear with me, folks. I'm just trying to get him back on. don't we just maybe just look at some of his images as we wait for him to join us. I think those of you who have hit freights in New York City subways, you know there's a difference in scale. And, you know, I'm always impressed by these huge top to bottoms that we're seeing here in these slides. Okay, let's see if he's on. And just sent them a request again. Just waiting for him to join us. As we look at this top to bottom, and you look in the background, you see these huge ships and mountains, and that gives you an idea of the scale. Yeah, he was definitely clean with his rollers. I'm just waiting for him to try to join. I don't know why all of a sudden he's not able to join us. We'll go through these images again with him, but for the moment, I at least want you guys to appreciate his work, his input over the years, in particular the scale at which he was painting before his accident. I mean, it's pretty impressive. Okay, folks, if I can't get him on, I think we're going to have to reschedule him because unfortunately this is not fair to him or to you guys. I will reschedule in order to be fair to him. What do you guys say? Okay, here we go. I think we're gonna get him on now. Let's see. Hopefully this will work out for us. Yeah, I've been sending. We're trying several different accounts, and for some reason, he's not been able to log on. It's unusual. Let me see. Yeah, that's a good hit right there. You know what? I'm going to try one more thing and log back in. If that doesn't work, guys, we'll reschedule with Benny because this doesn't seem fair to him or you guys. But I see at least 45 of you guys hanging out, 46. And let's try this. I agree with you, KMS. It's definitely be a dope conversation. Yeah, definitely the connection. Humble Hillside, I see you. Let me try something else. Damn, Benny, if you could hear me, you can. Let's see. Request from cloud.
Can you hear me?
He's just loading.
Yes, I hear you. I can't see you.
My bad for saying that fucking 10 times, but yeah. Right, tilt this back a little, please, Chivo. My nephew Chivo right here has been helping tilt it back a little.
To the back.
Towards you. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it was an internet connection, no?
All right. Well, no, it had to be a different phone. For some reason, in my phone, it wasn't working. And I don't know. So, anyways.
So, well, first of all, Benny, on behalf of Museum of Graffiti, our team here, and Pat and Allison, we want to welcome you to the Artist Talk program.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. Like, I don't even really know what to say other than I'm honored and looked up to you guys for. I don't know, since I was at least 12 or something. So, yeah.
Well, we're honored to be able to share your story, brother. And we've had a kind of a slow start today, but we'll get through this together. We have a bunch of your friends that have been hanging on.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone who's watching, dealing with the technical difficulties. I've never went live before. I'll probably should sometimes and talk. I don't. It's always weird talking on the internet, but I need to get used to it.
Well, I'm glad you could spend this time with us, and so I kind of just wanted to start the beginning of this conversation with some big works of yours of scale, and you were mentioning that this whole freight that you painted was a first. Can you tell us what that first was?
Not this one. Do you have the flyer of the not the flyer? Do you have the picture of the one that's with me standing in front of it? It's kind of like block letters, purple and pink.
The blocklet is not this one.
Not this one. This one is my overall best favorite train ever. It's been benched look at this picture with these ships. It's dope. But yeah, I haven't. This train has been my luckiest, best train that I have. But the first Holy Roller Hole car. It's the one.
Here, let's see if I could find it in here because, I mean, I'm not sure where that one might be, but we'll get to it. But we'll get to it
earlier. But yeah, whenever it comes up.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So I just want to ask you a couple quick questions as I normally ask the writers, right? Where did you come up and how did you find graffiti?
Me, damn. Well, I grew up in Gilroy and San Jose. Like I went to I used to Gilroy, yeah, mostly Gilroy. I mean, as a kid, we getting graffiti. It was weird. I used to have to I used to have to walk by the one high school in town. We come from a small city, Gilroy. It's like Methville. The inside, it's hood as fuck. And but I would walk to school, and then all of a sudden across the street, I'm in the hood, see a bunch of graffiti all over the apartments, old era crew stuff going, and I remember actually the biggest thing I remember from being a little kid is they wrote on the Gilroy High School sign. They did a ESG, but they used the G. They made it a 4, and then they put the X and the X4, and that it amazed me like how you could change letters into something else, and I would just see like I'd walk to the bus stop and I don't know I got kicked out of a bunch of schools as a kid, so I ended up having to take the bus out to the edge of town, which is mostly like farm worker kids or like these weird hick white kids, and I was cool off the white cowboy kids, and just kind of went to Mexican kids, and actually it was real weird. My boy Sayer, I met him in 3rd, 4th grade, but it's just our story is fucking crazy. But anyways, yeah, that's how it kind of started. My cousin Mystic, he grew up on the peninsula. I don't think he was probably not actually U.S., but orphan. Lived in it was in he's actually an orphan. It's fucking badass. His life, his career. You guys should study it. But he was in a group home in Palo Alto, and my cousin became good friends. They were INS together, orphan. Later on, and so I would see stuff from orphan in my cousin's books. I had no idea. Later on in life, I got locked up for graffiti. Probably actually was the first one. Me and my co-partner Free. Hopefully he's watching this right now. My boy Jesse. But anyways, we got locked up together. Did 6 months. But I saw there's a weird graffiti book somehow in the ranch, Santa Clara County juvenile graffiti shit, and I saw Orphan on the cover, and I was tripping because I just saw him in my cousin's sketchbooks. And anyways, probably went off track, but
No, but that background helps, right? For us to understand.
no, that's why I am who I am. I have different influences. I mean, DTC was the like childhood dream, biggest influence I ever had. Chris, like I'm going down the freeway, and I see Chris writing his own fucking name. I'm like, I was like, I don't even know, 10 years old, like what, 12 years old, like it was like amazing to me. Like I don't know. So yeah, it was. I mean, kind of a dream come true with the way I got into the crews that I did and the brothers that I have. Anyways, I should probably
Yeah, no, that's the blessing of the culture, isn't it? Right.
no,
And
it definitely is.
but it's also the adventure and the skills that you develop creatively that you wouldn't have otherwise probably gained through schools or any other program. And which brings up this thought about being in rural suburban places and how one practices
Yeah.
graffiti, right?
Well, it's kind of
Because
weird. It's kind of weird because, well, I guess it depends on your term, suburban. But where I'm from, Gilroy, it's not fucking suburban. Maybe the outskirts. There's a lot of like nice rich people living on different sides of town. And when I was a kid, it was this Mantelli Drive, and then you were rich. But as far as the inside of town, it's fucking Methville, real gang banging. Like people know in the pen and shit about Gilroy, which is a fucking. When I grew up, it was 35,000, maybe it's 30, 35. Now it's maybe 50, but it's not a suburb. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's the first city in the Bay. First time we cross over I-5 and you come into the Bay, you got to hit us first. So, and serious business. I had to grow up with the tag banging and dealing with gangsters that are just going to test you all the time. And until I had my homies, my art screw homies, I had Chris, the DTC guys, but
And so
Yeah.
tell me about the scene though, back in them days when you started. Who, like, for instance, in terms of a crew, what crew were you?
When
Let's find. Let's. I want to
when
find
is
out
that?
about.
When say that again.
I want to
What
know
time
more
period?
about you and your crew, DTC, and the
Oh
or
well,
the
DGC is like
origins of that.
DGC comes from Gilroy. It's I don't even know. It's weird because it kind of goes. There's a couple generations. There's the
Right.
first one with the homie Answer and Gil. Fucking Gil right back then. Anyways, a couple of old school homies, and like they're the old like they were in with Creed 85. He immigrated to the States. Um, LA came up here, and he kind of started DGC with these old school. He's a lot older than not a lot, but he's 5 years older when you're a teenager is a big deal, or when you're 20 or 30 years old. But now it's when you're young. But yeah, Creed 85 moved to Gilroy, and then he started FIVA Forever Aerosol, and then which then turned into DGC, which was bringing back an older crew from Gilroy, San Jose, with like I mentioned before, Answer and Gil. My mind was just not always there, but and he brought it back. Got in Chris, Emer, Jabber, Browse. I was second gen. I guess second generation. I didn't get into '99, but I watched them since I was a little kid. It's kind of yeah. Anyways, so
And you're still repping. So, Benny,
always. Oh, it was like my dream. Yeah,
yeah.
always. Like this is my family. Like I'm very lucky to also have my blood family, ups and downs, but overall like support everything mentally, and they literally saved my life in the hospital. I mean, we're 50 people deep. There's like security guards trying to kick them out, and they were like, "Fuck that," and they just like they had the doctors and the hospital had to have a conference with my friends because they weren't down to say anything different. So
Right.
yeah,
So, but Benny, can we backtrack a little bit and
yeah. Go ahead.
and
I ramble, bro.
yeah. I want to try to get some questions in, but also somebody's mentioned what about them road trips to Boston, Portland,
Oh,
Seattle,
Boston.
Phoenix?
Oh.
So
Okay.
so
Well,
prior to the accident, you were very
that's with
mobile.
me and my boy Pierre. Well,
You,
the way it works back
you
in
were
the
getting
day,
around.
I don't want to give up game, but like I guess it's pretty burnt nowadays. But anyways, back in the days, like being a graffiti writer, like I racked shit my whole life. Like it's a weird situation with me. My mom was like a hoarder and like a weird like my house is fucking crazy. But anyway, like and then like but anyways, I would just run streets as a kid and would like steal food and whatever. And back in the days, McDonald's was the only one with free refills. We would like do some weird shit where we steal a cup out of the garbage, poke a hole in the bottom, and then get a new cup. My cup's leaking. And they were tripping like, what the fuck's cup's leaking?
So
But it worked.
Benny, it sounds to me that graffiti was a good way to kind of divert attention from the hardships of life.
No, definitely. Like I mean, I know it's like cliche now in the graffiti world where it saved my life, but I mean, Gilroy is like Methville, USA. Not all of it, but the inside. And I might be prejudicial to the way I grew up. I'm not 100% sure how it's been the last few years, but I had to personally get out of there. But I also grew up in San Jose. It's kind of both. I got locked up in San Jose a bunch. I went to school up here for a year. I like
So you've had a
friends
life.
were up here.
Yeah. So you had that hard knock life, right? But you managed to turn it into creativity. And right now we're looking at a DIAR piece, a DIAR
Oh
piece
yeah,
rather, with a yellow and black 3D, and
yeah.
it's a
I
roll up.
love that. I love
And
that
you
one.
you
That was
you you did really good, really beautiful, clean roll ups. let's talk about how you got into scale and why you decided to go with rollers.
All right. Well, with me, I don't know. I had to always. I don't have the skill level that a lot of people do. Like I grew up, like I said, like Chris, Crete, every clown, you know, Jabber. They were really up. Muse. I remember a couple other people, but like their skill level is ridiculous. And in my mind, I had to figure out a way that works for me. What can you do? Kind of like a business or marketing kind of like. I'm not as good as these guys, but what can I do to put me on that level? And then, yeah, I don't know. It was going big. It was going big, going hard. Just my entry levels. You ask my homies, it's ridiculous even now. But just to do a lot and to go big,
And even taking, you know, rollers to the freights, which was impressive. But here we,
I think we might have been one of the first ones. I mean, I don't know, but in San Jose, growing up in this area, Santa Clara County, it was really hot. Like you can't carry ladders, and there was the ladders everyone has now to climb anywhere. What do they call it? You just put them on your backpack. We didn't have those, so it wasn't an option. I'm 6'4", never been a skinny guy, and, so I can't climb. Anyways, I had to figure out a way around that. So.
And so I'm looking at some of your work. As we look at some of your work, one of the things that comes to mind to me, and repeatedly, right, is the scale. Like
Yeah.
you weren't afraid to climb, you weren't afraid to put yourself at risk, and you did it more than most. And so here you are in a position now to reflect on it.
Well, I've always like been a believer of doing like every aspect of graffiti. Like you got to do. I mean, I've always been a big believer and pusher of use what you have, no matter what that may be. You got to figure out your strengths, and then yeah. And with graffiti, it was, scribes. Carrying a streak in my pocket, my scriber were like number one, and then got the paint bag in the car when I was older. That was always there, the crate paint. Careful with that, but just keeping the evidence as low as possible. I got my pig collection and went to court, and so many things stolen from me. Like, well, not stolen. Well, I guess you could say stolen, but I don't know where my old pictures are, somewhere in the evidence. But yeah, I don't know. It was just I forget what we were talking about. I'm a little high.
Well, we were talking about well, one of the things that stands out about what you just mentioned about having all these qualities, about trying all these different ways of
Yeah,
painting and techniques,
doing everything.
having all those skills. Yeah, that matters, right? And especially, go on.
You got to be an all around writer.
Right. And I
Like
was just going to say to
got a
you,
scriber in your pocket and a streak, and then you got your bag of cans. You could go bombing. I tried every aspect,
right?
except for throw ups. I've never been able to do good throw ups, but I adapted myself to do straight letters just as quick or faster than.
Well, Benny, what's interesting, if you give me a second to say this, I wanted to say that it's kind of reminiscent of what Min said in Style Wars, right? Like you had to have throw ups, you had to have insides, you had to be well rounded.
Yeah, now you do,
and
you do,
and be accomplished.
I love it. People send me. I mean, they send me my scribes regularly. They send me weird street tags I have in Oakland and Portland, like semi-regularly. Sometimes like somebody that caught an old one like this. It's the little things. Like I would, back in the day when I was working in the grocery stores, I would be up in all the back bathrooms that the community public weren't able to get to, and I would hear years and years later about this scribe they saw in the middle of.
So Benny, looking back and thinking about all the work that you've put in, is there anything that you didn't accomplish on the trains that you wish you could have accomplished?
Well, now it's a weird situation because times have changed in graffiti now. It runs so much longer, easier. Like I come from literally the worst place in the world for like buffing and getting rid of graffiti, and like 3 years in prison for your fucking for an offense like that. And that's the reason why we all kind of moved and learned how to do the sneakiest things that ran forever, you know, like but in Santa Clara County, it's loosened up. Everything's painted. It's hard to find stuff that ran. That's one thing I always look for: some weird wood fence or some chain link fence with those little panel things. Weird shit that would run. Because overall, I just Silicon Valley, late '90s, early 2001. It was all about the image. They didn't give a fuck about anything else. It was just how it looked, you know. It wasn't like they were spending the money on the fucking East Side community or whoever the needy. They wanted
So,
to shine up how.
so Benny, given that you were doing all this bombing, I want to switch gears to like a really big part of your story was that uh, you found that you unfortunately you had an accident, right? That changed everything for
Yes,
you.
yes.
And you were challenged by that, and I'd love to hear some. And I'm showing some pictures of you at work
Okay.
with a paintbrush in a yard at the train yard. And I've got to say that this is a very powerful and inspiring image, that you are relentless and that you had done this. Can you give us some background about
Well,
what
well.
that experience was and what you've learned as from it?
Uh,
Oh, I can't believe I'm losing you. Your audio. Ah, you're kidding me. Wait, lost your audio. Wait. Can you guys hear him? I can't hear him. Sorry, we lost him, folks. We'll get him back on. Uh, can you guys hear me now? California just had a silver alert. What's that? So you guys can't hear me. Okay. So hopefully he'll join us in a moment. Um, let's try that again. Always when you have that one question, the unfortunate technical difficulties kick in. Let's see. Yeah, well, is that an earthquake? Is the world ending as we are talking to Benny? Uh, Platinum alert. Yeah, it froze up. But as you could see, I'm really impressed with him and his journey and how uh, you know, having a life where you're taking big risks and you're painting so big, you're doing these trains, and then one day you find that you have to do it with your mouth. It's incredible. Let me just try something else. McDonald's is pissed right now. Wonder why. Okay, we're gonna try this again.
That again, Isaac. All right, I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah, wait, 1 second, I'm taking that. Smoking a little. But anyways, where were we? Yeah, the Amber Alert popped up like someone got, I don't know if someone got kidnapped or not.
Old man is missing.
Old man is missing. Look out for that, guys.
There you go.
The old man is missing. I didn't know Chris was all about the hunt, but you know.
So Benny, where we left off, we were talking about your unfortunate accident, and we're looking at images of you painting the train. And one of the things that impressed me was, of course, all the really large scale works that you were doing, the risks that you were taking, and that at this point in your life, you find yourself disabled from an accident. Why don't you tell us a bit about that story?
Well, it's just me living fast and doing dumb shit I shouldn't have been. Lucky. I had some of my one of my best friends in life, Sarah, was in the car. So was my boy Acro. Yeah, I was just blacked out drunk and did some stupid shit. Luckily, it was a one-car accident. Which is funny. The funny thing is, a cop that saw the whole accident happen saved my life. And so it's always a weird, like in the middle, especially with all this stuff going on. But if it's a cop who is backing up all these other cops, the whole culture of everything, I'm not down with it. Yeah, cop luckily saved my life. It's a huge intersection that had a couple of gas stations, and I was already not breathing. I broke my neck. My car started making a right-hand turn, blacked out on a going 85, hit the median, shot my car, broke my axles, shot my car in the air, and I landed on the driver's side. Luckily, I didn't seriously hurt Sayer or Acro, and just had to deal with my own consequences. Cop saved my life, resuscitated me. Someone put the fire out. Yeah, it was a big old crazy thing. I remember only a little bit. But
And so, if I can, given that you survived this horrible accident and you've had to do a lot of recovery, physical therapy, tell me about art playing a role, coming back to your creativity, finding your creativity.
Okay. It's huge
through disability.
Yeah, no, definitely. The accident happened, broke my neck. I didn't have any insurance at the time. I got some emergency medical or whatever, and then my brother's friend's mom found some 17 pages in on Google, found a facility down in the LA area where I went for recovery. Really weird because my boy Puzzle that I last seen him in Pittsburgh. I saw him in West Hollywood, an hour away. I get into this facility and he randomly is moving 5 minutes away. But anyways, I went down to LA for almost 4 years recovering in these different homes, and then came back over to the area. So.
And so tell us about having to find a way to paint again with just the.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. Down there there was like different activities. There was like these ladies who would come around. One was named Mary Jane. She was tight, she was a hippie, and she actually like just being cool and whatever. Because in those places you're kind of down, and people have these ideas. It's like arts and crafts time where like they come around and give each kid a little, or each person a little bit of time and figure out, and they're like, oh, do this with your mouth and try to paint on this piece of paper. And first I wasn't having it, and then I tried. Yeah, or I didn't try. I did, and then and from there on, that was just the way it was. I started painting some stuff, and then I remembered having a model train collection at home that wasn't touched. And I was like, hey, hit up Chris. He found it in storage, or
Yeah, I
whatever.
can fast forward to her. Malice, right?
Oh, now it's yeah, the body painting stuff.
Yeah, that the
Yeah,
body painting, that was part of your therapy.
yeah. Well, not really part of my therapy. I guess it was cool during the time, but yeah, and those at the end of those years, I was in a transition where I was kind of living on my own, but in a house that they owned. It was weird setup. It was awesome setup at first. It got bought out by some big corporation right towards the end when I was leaving. I got really lucky. Like so many things fell into place. But anyways, yeah, my the homie Damien hooked up. Yeah, Malice. She friends with a couple of homies, and she was Portland. Came down to LA, and she does her dancing and movies and a lot of
And so,
a lot of different things. She's awesome. And my boy
yeah.
Damien just was like, hey, do some body painting, and he filmed and did everything and set it up, and yeah, it was a good time. And yeah, anyways.
So, Benny, tell me about your practice as a painter. Let's go back to some of you in the studio, in your home
Yeah.
painting. Um, Talk to us about these paintings, these canvases, these portraits that
Well,
you're working
this
on.
specific one, I can't take this specific one. I can't take the whatever it is. That's not me. I did the orange and the reds and the lips, which I'm pumped on. But it was a collaboration with my good friend Joshua Pector, who is a amazing artist. The stuff he does now is just crazy. But you should check him out at Joshua Pector. But yeah, he would just come through and help me out. Like I said, I was in a recovery homes down in LA. It was puzzle. Literally, like a weird coincidence, moved 5 minutes away in like Northridge, the valley, like right like 2 weeks before I moved in. And then I had my boys Joshua Pector and Diesel. Damn, pass me the fucking.
DIAR, so let's talk
And
about.
then oh yeah, we're moving on fast. But yeah, anyways, my boy Josh and Dave Larson and Puzzle
Yeah, Puzzle
came through a
is
lot.
definitely a legend. But tell me about where you are today with kind of your care, and how are you doing with your painting? You mentioned that you may be trying some a new technique of painting.
Oh yeah, the last couple of years, 2019, um, maybe 2016. Chris hadn't painted a train since my accident and was just kind of wasn't feeling it anymore. He's one of my main partners, him and Sayer, but they just being Chris. But he also he was able to make it to the yard, brought me to the yard 2016, and then we got an invite from another dude in the valley saying there's a place that my wheelchair can get in. But yeah, in 2019, at a spot in the valley, presser that's able to get into, painted some with my boy Rain. He kind of put everything together, kind of like helped us push it forward, and yeah, we finally got to paint some trains. It was a crazy. It was like it was weird. It was when you get there and you start doing it, everything else in your life like melts away. I hadn't had that experience in 11 years at the time, so I don't know, it was the weirdest experience just to kind of we could
Benny, when
go
you
and
were out
paint.
there on the tracks, were you concerned at all? Like, what if you got chased out?
No. Me, if I was just able to get there, just kind of like fuck it. Like, they could. It's really hard to arrest me. I mean, they could give me a citation maybe, but for me to be in a place, in a train yard where I could paint or just be there, just there was. I don't know. I've been to the yard 20 more times than I've when I haven't painted and just kind of hung out like the whole experience. But just me being there, I'm not worried about it. And I've already like my friends do a lot of things, and I'm kind of public now, where I am public now, and I've already accepted the life I live. If something happens to me, and I can get
Right.
locked up or whatever else, but whatever.
Benny,
Go
let me
out, be
switch
better.
gears. I want to go back to finding out more about. Um, you had mentioned to me this painting helmet.
And
Um,
my boy, your buddy Brent right there. He's brought up a good thing. That's what you were talking about. I get sidetracked and talk about
okay.
a million things at once. Just you can remind me to get back on topic. But yeah, now painting trains. I realized with my in 2020, kind of like when the pandemic was like going down a little bit in the summertime, and hoping everyone was hoping that it was over, and went out to this and the train yards were a good safe place I could be because there was nothing else. And my nephew Chivo, he helped me paint. I kind of bit off more than I could chew. I would do the outline and do different things, and he would fill in with the brush, and I would like direct him what was going on, and I would do the main lines and everything. But I realized then I couldn't use my jaw anymore and my teeth. It was just way too heavy and way. But now we have a helmet system come together. My boy Slump and HVAC, and then Russell and everybody else. That we're going to be putting this together and have some plans. And
Yeah. So
I'm sure Chris will be involved. Anyways,
how soon will we will see you in action?
soon. I mean, I'm always kind of in action. I just everything takes longer for me, but next couple of weeks I should be out there again. I got a new wheelchair. I'm allowed one wheelchair every 5 years. Just got this new one and was able to get it how I needed it for the most part, and you know, the homies are coming together. And during this whole pandemic, kind of fucked everything up. You know, it was a hard time for everyone, and I had to be really careful, or I had to be still. I'm in the middle of my vaccination, but yeah, so it's just been a weird time. But my boys got me. You know what I mean? DGC, KYT, they've been there since the beginning, saved my life. Nobody can fight with them. So.
Yes, and it's a blessing to have your crew, your brotherhood intact, especially when you go through such a traumatic experience.
Yeah, no, they took care of me, especially Chris. He actually literally saved my life. Like, yeah.
We spoke earlier, and I was mentioning talking to you about two other people in my world, in my journey, that I've come across,
Oh
writers
yes.
who have
Yeah.
been challenged as well. Tempt
Mm-hmm.
one
And
from
I kind of know both of them. I
yeah,
don't,
Tempt, and
but
Take
anyways,
Five
Temp
from
is a
Canada.
badass. Take Five,
Uh,
yeah. Is he Canada?
Incredibly
I thought
talented.
in my mind I always thought Take Five was from Seattle, but I might be
Yeah,
wrong.
I
But no,
met
I
him.
know.
You're right, possibly because I met him in Canada.
Okay, yeah, I met him. Well, I don't think I met him, but I know him from Seattle from when I lived in Portland. He was doing his thing back. I moved to Portland the end of '01. I went to Seattle every other week. Shout out my boy E-Dub. I don't know if he's out there listening, but anyways, I was always up in Seattle. And all the homies. Puzzle was on house arrest
Right.
and
So,
whatever. But
Benny, if there's a goal for
Take
you,
Five was doing his thing back in 2001,
Benny, let's just throw
2002.
this out into the universe, brother. If you have a goal, if there's something you would love to achieve that you think uh, people can get behind and support you with, what would
Oh,
that be? What would you want to accomplish?
right now, my goal, what I'm doing next, it's a goal, but what I'm doing, I'm I'm starting this Patreon page, but that's just to help out. But my goal is to get like a specialized or a customized mobile home where I could travel the country. And I really would like to. My grandpa is like in his mid to late 90s and fucking Long Island and can't travel anymore. I like to see him again, once before passing. Either if I pass or he does, but either way, I would like to see my grandfather again. And it's also a graffiti tour, kind of a bucket list, travel around, just do everything, and that kind of deal. So that's a big goal of mine, and then just kind of taking steps to get there.
Those are great goals, brother. And
Yeah.
I listen. I want to let you know
Well,
that
and to stay alive. I got all these God kids, Chris's kids. I need to, my God kids, and need to be
right.
here.
You're a
So
family
it's good
man.
motivation.
So
Yeah.
how do they see? That's a good thought right there, right? About how your family now sees you, your relationship with your art and this new condition.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, it was funny because I remember being in the hospital and the homies like started bringing over graffiti related stuff, and I was like tripping out at first, like, no, my family can't see it. Like, I was locked up and been arrested multiple times as a juvenile. And I missed 3 Thanksgivings in a row being like locked up or in a boot camp boarding school place in Montana. I missed 2 Christmases in a row. My family was just over it. So then once I was done, I was, I was I don't know if you know but I graduated early from high school and worked full time being 17 and was just trying to, well, I was just doing my thing anyway. It was just the way I am, but I had to keep it secret from my family. Like, oh no, I'm not doing anything anymore. And I mean, they're not stupid. I mean, I was driving a Cadillac being
what
25
was
years
your
old.
wife? Were they shocked when they saw the pictures of you on the train tracks?
Later on, I mean, I actually haven't talked to them about that for the most part. I mean, it's my cousin, Derek, my one cousin. He was a big influence on my graffiti career. Since I was a kid, I would see it all over the place. Or he came down to Gilroy, and we went to Gilroy High, and he was just tagging on everything in the daytime. And I was just 10 years old, tripping out like, oh shit! Like, I guarantee, actually, a couple of the tags are still there. These little putty ones around the little football stadium. I saw them like when I was in high school, like 10 years later or whatever. But yeah, so it's I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Benny, we're going to wrap this up, man. But I want to really thank you on behalf of the museum that
Okay.
you
Yeah,
shared. That
I probably rambled too much and all this technical
no, it's all
difficulties.
good, brother. We
Anything
want to
else you want to talk about?
we want to hear your story, and if anybody has a question out there, um,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead and DM me on Instagram, and yeah, I'm gonna be out there doing my thing soon. We got this new helmet set up, so I don't have to use my jaw. I'll be setting up a Patreon just for help support with some different things. My life is just really expensive with all the insurance cuts. It's like more and more every year,
Right,
and
right.
whatever. I just got a lot of expenses, but either way. But yeah, just
So share with us the website and where they can, connect with you
okay.
and
Well, on Instagram you could find me at just at Benny Dyer. The same thing. Well, actually, I'm on Chris's account, but even there, or go to shop.cloutonline.com is our store, and it has a ton of prints, signed prints that I have. The print section, I probably should have fixed the store a little more, but and there's just a bunch of different art and then magazines, classic magazines that collectors need. We got the tie issue, Black Crown 2 that Kept made 20 years ago.
okay,
But yeah,
great.
you find me there. Find me on Instagram. Just DM me on Instagram for the most part. And yeah.
Someone said that you need your own show on TLC.
Well, the thing is with me is, well, I'm writing a book. Well, I've been writing a book. People are going to be like, you've been writing a book for 10 years now. But yeah, my life stories, even before the accident, people would be like, oh, you should write a book. And I have a ridiculous amount of stories of the way I grew up and what things that have happened and just all over. I'm actually working on it now. It's going to be part of my Patreon to motivate me, make sure I'm good with deadlines. I need a deadline so when I get shit done. I think Patreon will help me with that and will help me with
Okay, good. I want everybody to support and
yeah, I
you
appreciate
know,
you. Appreciate Kent, all you guys, and I thank you for the invitation.
yeah, man. Again, on behalf of the Museum of Graffiti, we appreciate you. We knew this would, would be a challenge to do, because of
Yeah, I've
getting.
been live before, and we had to
Yeah,
figure out all these
but
different situations, and we were in the middle of a huge move, and just in
I
my situation, we had to find a house that worked with me, which added a lot of stress and stuff to the my family I live with. Well, my God family, Chris and his family, which I'm very lucky to be with, especially during the during the pandemic. So, yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all benefited from it, and I appreciate you, Benny, and everybody who is on with us today. I want to thank you all for supporting Benny and his story and the museum and our effort to kind of bring the community together, tell our history, tell our stories, look for support between each other. And Benny, take good care, and we'll check in with you again.
Yeah. Thank you.
I definitely want to see. I want to see something. Uh, what happens next with you with the new invention that you'll start working
I'm
with?
not. Yeah, I'm going. With me, it takes a little while sometimes, but I have ideas and I have a lot more coming. And yeah, I just want to shout out my boys, DC, KYT, and everything else. And oh yeah, we're all on the Dogecoin, Dog Coin, whatever it's called. But anyways, get up on that. But yeah, thank you again. I'm honored. I yeah, all these technical difficulties got a little too high and took too long, a little frustrated. But I'm glad we
Well,
made it happen. I want to thank everyone out there watching and dealing with it. If you know me, I ramble into 10 stories, never finish one of them. So yeah, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Alan. And I appreciate the time in dealing with my situation. I know
yeah.
it's been a hard
Thank
thing
you,
to
Benny.
schedule.
Take care, brother.
To